Hi my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. We have the Secret Lives of Color. I'm going to update you on a couple things. I have the Valentine sew along that I am going to cut my strips and show you my sort of process I'm going to go through to make those hearts. I want to show you a couple quilts. Yes, always love couple quilts. Okay, so first, Secret Lives of Color. We are on the last color for section white. And it is all about the color beige. And it just kind of cracks me up because the end result of her research of the color beige is that basically beige is boring. And going through where she talks about how it developed from a cloth made from undyed sheep's wool, which, you know, think about that. That would probably be beige. It just kind of cracked me up. And a lot of reasons it cracked me up is because we as quilters, I think, use the word beige a lot. That for us is a good descriptor of a color range. Oh, we're not boring. We're not boring. Now we're going to be moving on in February to the yellow section. I'm excited about the yellow section. What it has is the chapter in the book will have a little write-up about yellow in general, and then it'll go into the actual shades of yellow that she's written chapters for. And so each of those shades will be a block. So first, let's look at my beige, which is very unboring, block. There's mine. So I have this fun little print that has all these little figures on it, which I thought were super cute. They're sort of widely spaced, so even though I'm doing the 9-inch block for this particular week, they're still sort of scattered around. And I believe this fabric is on sale right now as I'm doing this video. So that means there's probably not much of it left. So I will link it in the description box below. Remember, everybody, everything I tell you is in the description box. Okay, so how's this going to go together? Let's look down here, because I am doing my layout like this, which has this block, this beige, the beige block will go into the next section. So I've already done the first 3 here, and what I have is a couple of the white based, and this is a square, just like the pattern shows you. It's a square. And so for this group from last week, or last 3 posts rather, this is how it'll go. And I am going to put this alphabet. I've had this alphabet quilt, fabric rather, and it's quite old. And I want to cut this as a lot of these spacers and then maybe some backgrounds, you know, for a few blocks for the rest of them. So I'm going to keep this, and hopefully it'd be kind of cool if I used it all up, used a lot of it between this and then the fabric that I already used there. So I'm going to try to have a little bit of consistency with those. I also have a bunch of this fabric left still with the little ballerinas, so I'm thinking of using those. So they're all in the bin here to keep track of. So this block, this unit of putting 3 blocks together, I will do. And the one for today, our beige, will be with 2 yellow blocks. Okay, so that is the plan for the Secret Lives of Color. Got that one figured out. Okay, we have Sweet Dreams. So I'm pretty excited about getting this done. Some of you have made hearts. You've got them going, and that is great. I was working on the red and white Woodland Wonderland. I got that done. I was also doing a little bit of cross stitch. So now I'm ready to cut these strips. So I've got the groupings. So I've got the groupings that I did the other day, I showed you. And I will basically need to cut 54 strips. So I figured that out. If you've got a layer cake, each of these will be then cut in half, but I need 54 strips. And there are only 31 here. So that means I have to do the extras of them from, I think I'm going to pick all the more interesting, like polka dots. I'm going to use up all the polka dots and the hearts. Those will be what I go back and cut the extras from. And actually, like here, like this one already has double, so I won't cut any more from those because I want to get enough variety. Now I do like some specialty rulers, and this ruler is what comes with is a companion to the Perfect 10 book because it's a 10-inch ruler and it has markings that are done a little bit more simplistic so that you can use it, you know, with the book, and it's also just nice because of the way it's laid out. So what I'm going to do is put on the 2-inch here and then just cut the strip. And I'm going to cut one from each set first of these groupings. Well, this one might be a little thick, so I might have to do it in halvesies because that's a little bit too thick, that stack. So I will do my 2-inch strip. And after I get all of these strips and all of these guys cut, then I will go and figure out which ones do I want to do the additional strips that I have to make, which is like 22 or 23. I think I have to do 23 more strips. Oh, definitely the dots and the polka dots. So I'm going to go ahead and get these strips done, and I will sew up one block. I want to show you how I'm subcutting these into the width that I need, because they have to be 5 inches, which is half of the strip. But let me come in close here, because this is a tip which maybe you do, I hope you do, but I always make sure that I've lined up there we go, I've lined up along a straight line on the straight of the edge of the strip, so that I'm just not angled somewhere weird or somewhere just in between, like randomly, because then you could be shifted a little bit. I also do not line up at the top edge of the ruler because I think our visibility is not as good and we could be off. So I find it to be more accurate to line up on a line within the ruler, and then subcutting like this. And I am gathering, you know, all of these so that I can sort them into one heart, and then I will sew that up. Okay, the first block. This I like. One reason that I always want to do one block first is to be sure that I kind of lock in what I'm doing and where the colors are going to go for the rest of them. Because there's only 9 blocks, I want to be sure now to put two polka dots at least, and some of the deeper purples. So that way they'll all have a little bit of that, and I'll be sure they're not in the exact same spot. Now, it might be easier to make several of them identical, like if you were doing, you know, you could do 2 identical, that would, because you're cutting the same stuff. If that's how you like to work, that would work out perfectly. I also cut my 5-inch strip and 3-inch strips. I cut all the 3 inches and a 5-inch. So I need to do enough of these, cut all these up as well, and then I'll be ready. We do have trimmings from this, and they're not you know, big enough for the border. You've got little trimmings and big trimmings, and I'm going to use these probably for a pillow, maybe the bigger ones, see if I can do like a table mat. So some little companion things. You could do mug rugs with them to go along, particularly if you were maybe going to gift this. That would be kind of fun to do all that. Now I do have something to show you. First of all, I didn't have the chocolate chip cookies yesterday that I like, the store-bought ones, which are really from a bakery up in Maryland, in Baltimore, Maryland, the Otterbein. So these are my chocolate chip cookies. They don't have nuts. So if they had nuts, they would be really perfect. These are super crispy ones. Yum! So I had to show you these, even though today with this, you know, I missed having them yesterday on the Sweet Dreams block day. Okay, another fun thing is I got in a fabric bundle I want to show you, because I am just in love with this. It's a French General, and it is called La Viva Baume. I'm not sure I pronounced that right, but I love these colors, and I thought, what can I make with this? And I thought, you know, this would be so pretty as a bed quilt. And I have a pattern from the Fat Quarter Shop, one of their Sew Emma patterns. This one, I thought, that would be kind of cool. Now, I'm looking at the back. So they always give you a bunch of sizes, and it has a queen size bed quilt is 36 fat quarters. and there are 36 in here. It does need 1 1/8 yard of accent, and I'm like, oh, where is the accent? The accent is actually, they did a very light color in between. See, that's the same fabric coming in that cross part. So I thought, well, what I could do would be to pull out maybe all of these tans or these creams in tans and use those as the middle. I don't know, I'd have to do a test block. Otherwise, I was thinking I could get a little bit more of the blue. I had really been thinking ahead that I wanted to do something, and I had bought a little bit more of the red. I believe I bought like maybe might be 2 yards of this back one, or 1.5 yards, and then like a 1/2 yard of the other. So I have to think through that plan a little bit, but I really, really like that. I think it would be a really pretty bed quilt, and I haven't done, last year I did a bed quilt, and you know, I used my bed quilt for a while, and then I want another one. I want to change it up, have something different, and you know, that one then can, you know, be used by somebody else. So I don't know, I'm sort of, you know, it's got that softer version of that summer blue. And this is also very, you know, red, white, and blue, which is kind of a neat. Okay, so I'm thinking on this. You're going to see more of this as I try to mull through that. I also picked up this Social Sharks pattern. Ah, so cute. Shark Week is in the summer. It's like in August, I think. So definitely going to make one of these for Shark Week. You know, you could just do a pillow. There they showed it without the plaid, like all blue sharks, but oh, the plaids are so cute. And I think she has a new plaid line, Elizabeth Hartman, who designs these patterns, these animal patterns. So I'll link you to that as well. All right, we're gonna go and look at some quilts. I got the border on. Yes, there was enough of these sort of tighter print, which is really what I wanted. I wanted that feel of the tighter print and binding. So I cut 1.5 inches, and then I thought, oh, I should have cut it 1.25 inches. That would have maybe given me enough for the binding. Turns out I have enough for the binding. There's probably a little bit more here than I need. Plus, this was what was left. So I'll put that in my strip bucket. That was really all that was left. It's like 1 inch wide. So I have that on here, and I believe I will probably just quilt that myself, unless I decide to send it to Judy. But I will leave it there and decide if I want to it's small. It wouldn't take me long to quilt it up. I do just have it's a little harder. My left hand doesn't have the gription to hold things anymore because of having broken it. If you're not familiar, I broke both my wrists in June of 2020, and my left hand is still, it's really, really good now, but it still has not as much strength, not as much flexibility. And so that's, you know, you're holding with your left hand a lot when you're machine quilting. So anyway, I'm debating on that one. All right, I want to show you a couple little quilts that I was kept off to show you, because I found one that I told you I was going to show you. So first, my butterflies. Butterfly Kisses. This was done in 2015 for a collaboration book, and I will link down in the description box to the book. It is, I loved fussy cutting those. Look at the dots. Look how I got the dots on the edge of the butterfly. Makes me think of spring. I am ready for spring already. It's not even the end of January. It's almost the end of January. Okay, here's one of my favorite owl quilts that I designed, which I believe is also on the cover of the book. It's the way back machine for that book. This one was done in 2007, and you can see on here's the backing that I used, just strips of fabric, but he has cute googly eyes. Fun, right? I love him. I should hang him up. I love the fabrics I use. I love everything. And I showed you this little guy, which I found, and I said I didn't know, I hadn't found the companion quilt to go with it. This is a table runner. I hadn't found the quilt. Well, I found the quilt. I knew it was there because this is one of my favorites. So it is called the Wild Rose. I love it. I did this in, when did I do that? No date on there, but it was, oh no, here it is. Sorry, I'm reading 2003. This was in a McCall's magazine, and then it was in a book. Okay, and another little one I found was for Valentine, which I totally forgot, is I did this for our 25th anniversary, which was a while ago. Our 25th wedding anniversary was a long time ago. But I used my alphabet that I have on my free pattern page and the hearts from my free pattern page. Then I just took a rectangle of this bright green that went with this border fabric. So the border fabric, the bright green and this bright pink were all in the same fabric line. I thought it was so cute. Now I need to hang that up. So I got a Valentine thing. I don't know if I'm going to get Valentine stuff, much of it hung up, because I just got a little worn out doing all the sorting of the quilts and putting everything, and I just feel like I need a break from rooting through them. So I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. Real quick, 2 on the back here is I got them quilted, so they're here because I have to cut the binding for them. This is my Fall Frolic, so I have that. It's got quilted. So here we go, just to show you. And that's using my green Harmony backing. This is the wide back, which turned out really nice. And then I have the coffee panel, which we're getting more panels in. The Fat Quarter Shop, I asked them if they could get some more, and they said yes. So they should be in the store soon. And I'll show you this again. I think I have some aqua and white stripe binding, a stripe for binding. So here is the quilting of that guy, and I want to switch him out and put him on the back wall for a while, because I think that would be so fun to enjoy. And you know, you got to have fun sometimes. You have to have these things that just make you smile, and that's what this one does for me. So the internet is a funny place. And if you are on it doing just about anything, you have to get a very thick skin. I think my skin is like thicker than elephant skin anymore after all these years of writing on the internet. And people say things. They say odd things. They say mean things. They say unusual things. And there was a comment here at YouTube, and I just had to share it because I'm like, really? Like, really? You know, I don't like to be negative, but this is like, really? So Joe wrote, "Why do we never see you sew? All you do is talk about uninteresting things." So why are you telling me this? You want to sit and watch somebody sew, that's great. You want to go watch somebody who has more interesting conversation, that's great. Go right ahead. There's thousands and millions of YouTubers out there that you can go watch their YouTube. You don't have to watch mine. But this just cracked me up. I really think, am I that uninteresting? Okay. All right, my friend. Nuts. The internet is nuts. You are going to make your sweet dreams in boring beige today, which is not boring for us quilters. And get your Valentine blocks started. Start on the hearts. Cut your strips out if you haven't done that yet. Like me, get them cut and ready to go so you can just sit down and sew. So I love you. Mwah. See you online.